Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome here if it's your first time. In today's video, I'm reviewing the Kinera Celest Relentless IEM. It's got one dynamic driver and 6 balanced armatures. Let's get it. What's cracking audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So the Celest Relentless here, 7 drivers per side, and it's coming in at a price of $169. Let's have a look at the IEMs. There they are. Just like most, or maybe even all, no, most Kinera IEMs, these faceplates are hand painted. So it means everyone's unique, and it means they always tend to look pretty awesome, and these are no exception. The shells are slightly on the larger side. They're a little bit bigger than your average IEM to pack all those drivers inside. Let's have a look at the cable, and it is a rather lovely silver plated copper cable. It is 0.78mm 2-pin connectors. But yeah, the thing is, it's modular, baby. So take the sleeve off there and pop that out, and there you go. It comes with this 3.5mm plug and a 4.4mm plug, and that's just that easy to swap them out. Just screw the sleeve back on. So yeah, it's a pretty lovely cable. But back to our IEMs here, and although they are on the large side, I do find them very comfortable. Not great for lying down with, because they do protrude out from your ears a bit, but yeah, I can wear these for several hours at a time without any discomfort. But let's get on and talk about how they sound with those 7 drivers per side. I will say the Relentless here does like a little bit of power. They do tend to require a bit more turn on the volume knob than more sensitive IEM, so keep that in mind. But in terms of our sound signature, we're looking at a light V shape. It's got a good mix of musicality and technical ability. However, I would classify it definitely more as a musical IEM, more so than an analytical one. It's got a powerful sound, which is due to its elevated bass, but that elevated bass is balanced by a rather forward and light treble response. We'll have a look at the graph there, and there she is. Now let's talk about the bass. The bass is substantial. It's resonating, it's engaging, and the lows dig nice and deep, and they've got a good sense of authority and power, and this gives the sound an underlying richness and a thicker note size. But the extra body, it doesn't cause a bloated or convoluted presentation, and that is thanks to the balanced treble tuning. The sub bass can rumble pretty hard on these, so it does get down those ultra lows. You will feel them. And the mid bass is nice and punchy and has good impact as well. I wouldn't quite call this a bass head IEM, but it's kind of leaning in that direction. It delivers an impactful, but still a balanced bass response. So it does have a rather enhanced bass, well north of neutral, but it's balanced by a rather forward treble, hence the V-shaped sound signature. Now for our mid-range, the Relentless it's got pretty rich mids, and that is courtesy of the boosted mid bass and upper bass that add body and size to the mid-range notes. With this kind of tuning, there's always a risk of too much smoothing and thickness in the mid-range, but like I said, the forwardness of the treble helps to maintain clarity and definition with this model here. And that means that vocals and instruments remain distinct and detailed. The overall tone doesn't become too dark. And this mid-range tuning does work well for both male and female vocals. Male vocals are deep and powerful, while female vocals are vibrant, yet still warm and inviting, i.e. they are not shouty. And the mid-range, it's fairly forward and kind of intimate, but it blends cohesively with the bass and the treble. So although there's a slight V shape there, the mids don't sound recessed and they sound all natural and cohesive. Now for the treble, and look, the treble of the Relentless here, it's tuned with an 8 kilohertz peak, and that is crucial for maintaining that clarity in the mid-range, plus adding some air and spaciousness. So when you've got a rather elevated bass, you have to lift the treble up as well, or the upper mid-range, less preferably. Otherwise you end up with a very dark and maybe kind of a muddy sound, something like the QKZ Hades had that problem. But without the enhanced treble, the overall tone would be too dark and it would be dominated by the bass. And with this model, although the treble is quite forward, it has a touch of warmth to it and a sort of a roundness to the treble notes. And by doing that, Kinera was able to add definition and some bite to the treble while still keeping it nice and smooth. And despite not being the most precise treble, it does allow for above average detail retrieval. Now let's move on to the soundstage and technicalities. So the soundstage is fairly intimate. It's not an expansive or overly large soundstage, but it never sounds crowded, and that's thanks to having pretty good instrument separation. There's a fairly even amount of width and depth, which creates a natural and rounded space. And one thing that's surprising about this one, again, is that excellent detail retrieval. It's really quite good. Despite that prominent bass and the thicker note size and the richness, it does have excellent detail retrieval. However, I would say the imaging suffers slightly from that sort of warmth in the treble. It's not the most precise treble, and although it makes the tone pleasant to listen to, it does make the precise placement of instruments within the soundstage a little less distinct. Alright, for our comparison today, I'm going to bring in the Celest Phoenix Call here. Subjectively, I think the Phoenix Call looks a bit better. It's a really beautiful shell, that one. But, subjectively, like I said. Anyway, get on to the comparison now. The Phoenix Call here has a brighter tone due predominantly to its rolled off sub bass. And what I mean by that is that looking at these two on the graph, the frequency response, they do follow a fairly similar curve, except the Phoenix Call's sub bass falls off a bit earlier, and that means there's less body and warmth in the low end, so the perceived level of the treble and upper mid-range comes forward, so it's got a brighter tone. The Relentless, in comparison, is more V-shaped, but it's also a bit more dynamic. It has a better dynamic range. You get those ultra-low forward sub-bass rumbles, and then you get a nice lively treble up top. The Phoenix Call has more clarity, and it's a bit more transparent, especially in the mid-range, but it's also more demanding on the listener. It can cause a bit of listening fatigue, because once again, it is a little bit bright. So I think the Relentless would be a less polarizing and a more popular tuning compared to the Phoenix Call here. The Phoenix Call, it's not as dynamic and it's not quite as balanced as the Relentless is. So from this pair, my choice would be the Relentless, although I do like those shells of the Phoenix Call, but yeah, this Relentless sounds better to my ears. So let's wrap it up there. It is a 7-driver hybrid IEM coming in, what did I say, 169? Let me check. Yes, it's $169. I think that the audio quality is worthy of the price. And remember, you do get a nice modular cable as well, which is great if you use more than one source. So bold, dynamic, lively, detailed and balanced, albeit slightly V-shaped sound, I would give this my recommendation. And having said that, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, fam audiophile style. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button before you go. If you would like to support the channel, check out my little Patreon link down below. I would appreciate any support for the channel. And until next time, I'll see you later.